Okay, good morning class. So today we're looking at the November 2020. We started answering of the questions. We got up until question. Okay, this is the time you answer. Yes. Question 7. Okay. Let's go to 6. We answered 7. No, we must start answering from 7 onwards. Right. Realize now I don't need to go all the way up. So that is right. So we are told that the diagram below shows the graphs of f of x equals, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to write it here, f of x equals negative x squared plus x plus 12, and g of x equals negative 3x plus 12. Okay? C is the y-intercept of both graphs. We know that's going to be 12, so the constants of the parabola and the straight line is both 12. D and F are both the x-intercepts of the parabola, whilst D is the x-intercept of the straight line. A is the turning point of the parabola. Okay. So everything in this information, everything is in the diagram. You all agree with that? Answer? So let's answer the first question for 5 marks. Determine the coordinates of C, D, and F. Okay? So, if you look at C, what is C? C is your y-intercept. How do you calculate y-intercept? Let x equal to 0. This is now assuming that we don't know which 12. Yeah? So you say g of 0, or I could say f of 0 is negative 3 times 0 plus 12, which gives you 12. So therefore D, 0 and 12. Sorry, not D but C. Yeah? So C is 0 and 12. Then D. Now I could go x-intercept of the straight line. However, since we need to calculate F, we can just go straight x-intercept of the parabola. In that case, I would get the coordinates of D and F at the same time. Does it make sense? So, x-intercept, what do? We let y equals 0. Okay? So 0 is equal to, remember f of x is a y, negative x squared plus x plus 12. So what we do is we plug this in, oh my word, plug in the calculator. It's going to close it and open it again. Okay, so you just plug it into the calculator. You can use either the quadratic formula or your factorization by trinomials, or if you have this calculator, we can do the following. It's the coefficient of x squared is negative 1, of x is 1, and the constant is 12. Right, so for those of you who normally put a request in for Christmas gifts, it's a nice one to get for yourself, okay? You tell your mommy, don't buy me the Jordans this time. No? But you guys normally wish for Jordans and Vans and all of these things. It's a calculator. No? So x is equal to negative 3. Have I answered the question? No. What's the coordinates of f? Negative 3 and 0. And D, which is 4 and 0. Will you all agree with that? Okay. So I'm just going to write it in here so that I'm going to delete that soon so that I can use that that space there and keep the diagram in focus. That's the idea. Okay. Any confusion here? So everybody got 5 marks at this point. Yeah? Don't make this the only 5 marks you're getting, okay? Let's go with the next question. The next question, 7.2, says write an expression for f in that form. What would form? There it says by completing the square. So, by completing the square, so we got f of x equals negative x squared plus x plus 12. To complete the square, the number in front of x squared must be 1. As you can see, it's not 1. So we must get it to be 1. How do we get it to be 1? We take out a common factor of negative. So it's x squared minus x minus 12. Not so? So what do we do now? We also say, okay, what must be added to complete the square with? It's b times a half. B, which is 1, and 1 times a half is a half squared. And subtracted as well, it gives you 1 over 4. So there's my, what do I call that? A perfect square trinomial. So it's x, as you can see, it's minus a half squared. Minus a quarter minus 12 is minus 12 quarters, or negative 49 over. Not so? Let's check here, I might be wrong. Negative a quarter minus 12. Yes, correct. So we multiply the negative in, so it's going to be negative into x minus a half squared plus 49 over 4. And they have completed the square. Okay. People, very, very important operation to be able to do, okay? Or calculation to be able to do. Procedure. Right? Hence, otherwise, determine the coordinates of A. A is your turning point. Not so? Now, your turning point is made up of this value being your x and that being your y. Not so? Remember your additive inverse on that. So, 7.3, your turning point, which is A. Since that is negative half, it becomes positive half, and 49 over 4. Doesn't make sense, people? Yes. This is very close to the x, hence your 4, your half. And then 49 over 4. If this is 12, as we know 49 over 4 is 12,25. Which has to be greater than the y-intercept. Which also makes sense. Y more or less correct. Okay. Any confusion at this point? The next question. We are asked, for which value or values of x is f of x greater than g of x? So in other words, where is f of x on top of g of x? Now looking from on top. Looking from on top. Nice pretty eyelashes. Looking from on top. Look here now. Yeah, eyelash at the bottom also, no? Looking from on top. Can you see, people? What do we say? It will be, looking from on top, the top graph minus the top graph, the graph that is greater, in this case has to be f. F must be more than g. F of x must be more than g. Remember the parabola is f. Is the parabola more than g or less than g here? Less than g. Why? Looking from on top, it's at the bottom. Not so? Here is f on top. Yes, till which point is it on top? Till D. And then? G again is on top. Does it make sense, people? Alright. So, is this a continuous or break-in solution from this x value here till D? Break or continuous? Continuous. So what do I say? 7.4.1. X must be greater than 0, but less than. Right, you guys understand? Any confusion there? Alright. Next question. F of x an increasing function. Which values of x is f of x an increasing function? So is f increasing or decreasing here? It's increasing. It's increasing as x is moving from left to right. As x increases, the graph is increasing. They want to know where it's increasing. So where is it increasing? For x is less than. X is less than? Oh. Can you see that, people? What if they say for which values of x is f of x decreasing? X is more than or. Not so? So what do we say there? Where is it increasing? It's increasing for x is less than. Oh. Okay. Can't believe it's so easy, no? Let's go to the next question. If OB is equal to 3, if OB is equal to 3, so what's the x value on this line? 3. Not so. OB is equal to 3. Calculate the length of GE. So how do you calculate the distance between two graphs? Top graph minus the bottom graph. Not so. The top graph minus the bottom graph. So looking from here, you can see f of x on top of g of x. There's f of x minus g of x. There's more than one way of doing this, okay? But there's a reason why I'm going to first find the algebraic distance and then do the substitution. I know some people do the substitution first. There's nothing wrong with it, okay? But this is a skill that you must acquire at this point already. Okay, we're going to need it for next year as well. Okay? So it's going to be, they could have asked you as well what to determine the maximum length of GE. You know, complete the square anyway. So I'm going to first say f of x minus g of x, simplify it, then complete the square. Then you'll get the maximum length of GE. Okay? But that wasn't the question yet. The question was calculate the length of GE. So f of x, which is negative x squared, plus x plus 12, minus g of x, which is negative 3x plus 12. So it's going to give you negative x squared, plus x plus 12, plus 3x minus 12. That cancels, so negative x squared, plus 4x. This is what we call the algebraic expression for GE. This is the algebraic expression for GE. So what do we do now? We substitute the x value in at that point, which is 3. If this had to be on the negative part of your y-axis, a negative part of the x-axis, I would substitute negative 3. Let's say for argument's sake, they wanted to know this length, but g is on top of f now. Then I would say g of x minus f of x. And then I would substitute x is equal to minus 3. Why? That's a negative part of the x-axis. Okay, just note that thing. So, GE is then equal to negative 3 squared plus 4 times 3. Negative 9 plus 12 is 3 units. Any confusion here, people? No? Next question. They want to know for which values of C will the equation negative x squared plus 12x plus x equals C. People, where do you see this? Where do you see that? This is your f of x. It's the same as saying f of x equal to C. Not so. But C is what? C is a y value. A y reading. Not so. So, this is f of x equal to C. So, the question says has real but unequal roots. Currently, from this graph given, What can we say about these roots? What are roots firstly? What are roots? Roots are your x-intercepts, not so? So, what can we say about the nature of this roots? Is this roots real or non-real? It's real. Why is it real? It's cutting the axis. What are roots? Roots are where the graph cuts the x-axis. Not so? Zero values is also the x-axis. So, it's cutting, so it has to be real. So if the graph did not cut, it would be non-real roots. Not so? Are these roots equal or unequal? Is the x value the same or not the same? Not the same. So here roots are real. Unequal, is it rational or irrational? Rational. -3 and 4 is rational. So currently the roots are real but unequal. Not so? If I draw this line here, will the roots be real or unequal? This is now your C, no? Y is equal to C. Write it first. Okay, so what is your C value here? 0. Not so. So the roots are real here. Not so. Real and unequal. Now I'm moving this graph here for the C value. If the graph lies here, real and unequal, is that correct? Yes, but it's still cutting. It's cutting there and there. Real and unequal here. Why not? So you say it's not real and it's not adhering to the statement here. Do you all agree with that? What does it arrows mean? What does these arrows mean? Parallel. What does it arrows mean, people? The graph is going down. Down where to? Infinity. So, do you think that graph is not going to cut this line? Yes. And if I take this to -1,000,000, will it cut still? Yes. It will still cut. You guys understand? So as long as I go down there, the graph will be real and unequal. So the roots will be different. If I take this up here, you agree? Real and unequal. Real and unequal. Real and unequal. And here, real and equal. Because that is going to cut the y is equal to c, is going to cut the graph at 1 point or 2 x values became 1 value. Not so? So the graph is bouncing off at that point. What is your c value at this point? Y is equal to what at that point? It's 49/4. Not so. So we say 7.6. So y and 49/4. What does it have to be? It has to be what to 49/4? It must be any value less than 49/4. Can you see that? Can it be 49/4? No. Equal. Can it be more than 49/4? No. Why? Otherwise it would be non-real. Not so. So for real but unequal roots, the alpha must just be less than 49/4. If this was omitted, if they did not say, it says have real roots, how would this have been different if it had said real roots? It doesn't say equal or unequal. It just says real roots. Less than and equal to 49/4. Can you see that? What if it had said real and equal roots? Real and equal. Y is? No, not Y, sir. Not Y. This is the C. They want another values for C. Wait, what was my question? Real and equal. What would I have written then? C is equal to 49 over 4. What if I said non-real roots? C would be more than 49 over 4. Okay? This is the variations I could ask you on that question. Okay? So that's that. You look at question 8, your finance. This is the pleasure many score marks. Okay. The tractor is bought for 120,000, depreciates to 11,090 rand and 41 cents after 12 years by using reducing balance method. What is the formula for reducing balance method? A is equal to P into 1 minus I to the exponent. Reducing balance, diminishing balance means the same thing. Okay. So your A value, it reduces to, so it's 11,090 rand and 41 cents. Your P value is 120,000 into 1 minus. You're calculating the rate, so it's I am calculating in this case. And for how many years is this? 12 years. So what do I do now? Divide by 120,000 both sides. Alright. So that cancels. So that gives us, whatever it is, let's keep it like that, 11,090,41 over 12,000. 120,000. I put 1 0 too many then, eh? 120,000 equals 1 minus I to the exponent 12. So what do I do now? We take the 12th root, both sides. Then I'm left with 1 minus I. And what do I do then? Take the 1 over. Okay? I can punch that in the calculator. Or let me write it down first. So it's going to be 12,000, the root 12, 11,090, comma 41 over 120,000 minus 1 equals negative I. Not so. Divide both sides by negative. So I'm just left with I. How do I move from the rate, from the I value to your rate? Times by 100. Right, so your rate is equal to 100I, or I is equal to your rate of 100. So you say negative, open brackets, the 12th root of, there's a fraction there, 11,090, 11,090 rand, and 41 cents over 120,000. Right? Minus 1. Then we multiply it by 100. So that is, how much percent? 18%. Okay, so it's a reducing balance rate of 18%. People, the next question, calculate the effective interest rate. People, effective to nominal, nominal to effective, that formula is not given in the exam. The formula, must remember, you will be awarded 1 mark for the formula. Okay? Get the formula right, you get 1 mark. So that is 1 plus I effective equals 1 plus I to the M over M to the M. That's your compound. Okay? That I effective has no bearing on that I, and that I to the M. The M has no bearing on that I either. Okay? I'm going to take the circles away. So it's going to be, calculate the effective interest rate. So that is I effective. So it's 1 plus 0,098. That is 9,8 divided by 100 into 1 plus I compounded quarterly over 4 to the exponent 4. I could have left that I, that 4 on top of I, could have left it out, no problem. So what do I do first? I'm going to add this, yes, and then take the 4th root. So it's 4th root both sides. Normally when you take any even root, it goes plus minus. But we know that it's going to be plus in this case. Okay, so they're busy with positive values here. So that cancels. Then what do I do? Take the 1 over, and then, so you got 4 into 1,098 minus 1. Then what do I do? Then I'm left with I over 4. Then what do I do? Multiply both sides by 4. Otherwise, you can do it step for step, no problem. Remember, they want the rate, so I must multiply it by 100. Okay, so it's 4 open brackets, the fourth root. The fourth root of 1.098 minus 1. Use 0,094 times 100 gives me 9,46. 9,46%. Okay, any confusion here? No? Right, let's go on. Is that right? Who got that answer that did that work? Nobody did that homework. Jesus. How do we build a nation like this, people? Huh? How do you build a nation like this? But anyway. Yes? 10 commas, there we go, thank you. 10 comma 17. Right, let me see where I went wrong. So it's 9.8, 0,098, that's correct. 1 plus, let's calculate the effective interest rate. Oh, I read wrong, sorry. This is completely wrong. There's actually a nominal value here. Why did you tell me right at the beginning? You wanted me to first make the mistake. Yes, okay, no problem. I made a mistake. You must calculate the effective interest rate. So you must calculate IE. So 1 plus I effective equals 1 plus 0,098 over 4 to the exponent 4. So what do I do thereafter? Take the 1 over and then I multiply it by 1. That's actually much easier. No? The 1 plus 0,098 over 4, the exponent 4 minus 1 times 100. 10,17. Thank you, Shirley. Okay. Any issues here? There shouldn't be, no? We didn't do our work. Right. Ms. Brankis invested 80,000 in an account which offers the following: 7.5% compounded semi-annually. Timeline question. Okay. So T0, she invested 80,000 there. The account that offers 7.5% compounded semi-annually for the first 4 years. Thereafter, 9.2% per annum compounded monthly for the next 3 years. Okay. Calculate the total amount of money that will be in the account at the end of 7 years if no further transactions happened on this account. So what we do is we must take it 80,000 rand to that point. We always take it to where the interest rate changes, and then we take it to the end. There's many ways of doing this. Okay? You can either break it up, get the value there, and then change the interest rate. You can do that as well. Okay, I'm going to do it in one step. So, A is going to be P into 1 plus I to the exponent in. What's your principal value? 80,000 into 1 plus. What's your interest rate up until T4? 0,075 over 2 to the exponent 2 times. How many years is that for? 4. So that is still here. So what happens at that point? Interest rate changes to 0,092 over 12 to the exponent 12 times. And for how many years is that for? 3 years. Let's go, plug that in your calculator. Is 80,000, open brackets, 1 plus 0,075 over 2 to the exponent 2 times 4. open brackets, 1 plus 0,092 over 12 to the exponent 12 times 3. So it's going to be 141,384.88. Is that correct? Right. Any confusion, people? No? Who did it and got a different answer? What did you get, Michael?
So I got 105,000.
105,000. Right, read for me what you have there in your book.
I did the longer.
No problem, just read what you have.
Okay, so A is equal to 80,000, bracket 1 plus 0,075 over. Oh, I put over 100 instead of over 4. That's why.
It mustn't go over 4. Should have gone over 2.
Over 2, yes.
Yeah. So you put it over 100. Okay. Anybody else? Right, so let's go to the next one. Question 4. So in question 4, we are told exactly 8 years ago, Onwabili invested 30,000 in an account, earning 6.5% per annum compounded monthly. How much will she receive if she withdraw the money today? So exactly 8 years ago. So how long was the money in the account? For 8 years. Yes. Compound formula. A is equal to P into 1 plus I to the exponent N. So it's going to be 30,000 into 1 plus I, 0,065 per annum compounded monthly, 12 times 8. Not so? You all okay with that? 65 over 12, the exponent 12 times 8. That gives me 50,390,07 and 7 cents. Right, you all okay with that? Is that correct? So, we are told that Onwabili withdraws 10,000 Rand 3 years after making the initial deposit. And reinvested 10,000 Rand 5 years after making the initial deposit. The interest rate of 6.5% per annum compounded monthly remains the same. Okay, this is exactly 8 years ago Onwabili invested. Oh, so there's another timeline question. So, she deposited initially 30,000 Rand. So it's going to be 30,000. She withdraws 3 years later at 10,000. And reinvested 10,000 Rand 5 years after making the initial deposit. This is the initial deposit. It's 5 years later. Compounded monthly remains. So the interest rate remains the interest rate of 0,065 compounded monthly. Okay? Calculate the difference between the final amount Onwabili will now receive after 8 years and the amount she would have received that had not been any transactions on after the initial deposit. So we need to see what the difference between the two accounts are. Can you see that? Here she withdrew 10,000 Rand and 2 years later she deposits the 10,000. So we're going to see how much interest she would lose in the second scenario. Okay? So, timeline question. So we're going to take your A total, we're going to take it straight to the end. So it's going to be 30,000 into, so 30 to the end, 1 plus 0,065 over 12 to the exponent, 12 times 8. We take 10,000 to the end, minus 10,000 into 1 plus 0,065 over 12 to the 12 times How many years is that for? 5. Now she added the 10,000. It's 10,000 into 1 plus 0,065 over 12 to the exponent 12 times 3. Alright. So I'm going to put, since that's coming 3 times over and over again, I'm going to enter it once. So 1 plus 0,065 over 12. And I press answer, so that will be the last answer calculated on the calculator. So if I see the interest factor, I press answer button. Okay? So it's 30,000. Open bracket, oh no, don't open brackets, you don't have to put it in brackets. So it's answer times to the exponent 12 times 8 minus 10,000 answer exponent 12 times 5 plus 10,000 answer to the exponent 12 times 3. Give me an answer of 48,708 Rand and 61 cents. Definitely less than the previous one. Can you see that? But what are the difference? What is the amount that he lost out by? So it will be 50,390 Rand and 7 cents minus that answer calculated now. It will be 50,390.07 minus that answer. So he loses 1,068 Rand. Is that right? 1,681 Rand and 46 cents. That's correct? Any confusion? Alright, let's try and get the paper done before the bowling. What time is it? How much time we got left? 2 minutes. Right. My college has 80 students in matric. So, Venn diagram. As you can see, Venn diagram is asked there. So 80 students, so your sample space is 80. It's a 3-way Venn diagram. 20 students studies biology. So biology is 20. You guys call it? Life science, yes. 20 students studies chemistry. Okay, you guys, chemistry and physics to us is 1. This is a college probably overseas. So your chemistry is 28. That means you say that, and that adds up to 28. Okay, you all agree with that? Then 30 studies physics. Physics, 7 studies both biology and chemistry. 7 biology and chemistry. So this year is 8. Both, sorry, 7. Both makes up that, okay? So I'm going to put here 7. 11 studies both chemistry and physics. Chemistry and physics this year is, what is that? 11. 5 studies both physics and biology. That is 5. And 3 studies all 3. Not so. Just take this out here. So 3 would lie here. Not so. 7 does both of those, so it's going to be 4 there. Not so. 11 studies both chemistry and physics. No, I fold that on the wrong place. Biology and chemistry, 7. 11. Chemistry and physics. 11 minus 3? Huh? 8. 5 do physics and biology, so 2 there. 2 does bio and physics only. Draw a Venn diagram, we just did. Okay. So there's many things that we can calculate at this point. We know that 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus this, and it adds up to 20. So what am I shorting? 20 minus 2 minus 7, 11 is 9. Not so. 30 minus 13 is 17. Let's check if that's correct. Huh? 11. Okay, no problem. What? The 9 is supposed to be 11. So 11 goes here. How did Adam get 9? 3 plus 4 is 7. Oh, that adds up to 9. Sorry. You see, when I try to work faster, I'm making mistakes. So that's going to give you 10, 13 is 17. No? That's 28. 20. 7 is 13. Did they tell us that all the learners takes one of the subjects? No. So in other words, we must say 80. 80 minus 30. Those 4 add up to 30. 80 minus 30 is 50. 50 minus 11 is 39. 39 is 35. Is 22. Is 22 on the outside? Sorry? Okay, you all see now about 22, no? Alright. Remember that all these adds up to 80 again. Okay. Let's answer the questions. So, in 9.1.2, they say a matric student at the college is selected at random. Find the probability that the student does not study biology, chemistry, law, physics, or physics. Doesn't study any of these. So it's going to be 22 out of 80, which is 11 out of 40. You all okay with that? Next question. Is that it? No, well, I thought it was going to be nice more questions pertaining that Venn diagram. Right, here we have a scenario. Udra and Mishka plays 2 games of tennis. The probability that Mishka, so Udra and Mishka, 3 diagrams is going to be the better representation of what's happening. The probability that Mishka wins the first game is 70%. So what's the probability of, Mishka winning is 70%. So what's the probability of Udra winning? 0.3 or 30%. If Mishka wins the first game, so if Mishka wins, then the probability of her winning the second game is 90%. So that's 0.9. Not so. You know what's the probability of Udra winning? 0.1. If Udra wins the first game, that means you say you're dealing with that branch. If Udra wins the first game, then the probability of Mishka winning the second game is 50%. So if Udra wins, a chance of winning is 50% and Mishka winning is 50%. So the outcomes on this branch is going to be Udra winning, Udra Mishka winning, Mishka Udra, and then Mishka. Both games being won by Mishka in the last outcome. First question. Calculate the probability that Udra wins both games. So, this is the branch I should be following. Not so? So, probability of Udra is going to be 0.3 times 0.5, 0.15. Next question. Calculate the probability that Mishka wins 1 game and Udra win 1 game. Did they say Mishka win first and then Udra? No. So it can be any order. So Mishka 1, Udra 1. Mishka or Udra. So to follow that branch, you're going to be Mishka, Udra and Udra Mishka, which is that there. Not so? So that would give you 0.3 times 0.5. That is Udra Mishka. Mishka Udra is 0.7 times 0.1. So plug that in the calculator. 0.3 times 0.5 plus 0.7 times 0.1. That's 11 over 50, which is 0.22%. Or 22%. Make sense? The law 9.3, if the probability of A union B not is equal to 0.2. So the probability of A union B is going to be 0.2, then that is 1 minus the probability of A union B. Not so? So Which rule am I applying here? Complementary rule, no? Yeah, complementary rule. So the probability of A union B is equal to 1 minus the probability of not A union B. So this should simply be 1 minus 0, 2, which is 0, 8. The probability of not, so the probability of A intersection B is equal to 1 minus the probability of A, or probability of not A intersection B. Okay? So that would be 1 minus 0, 7, which is 0, determine whether events A and B are independent or not. What is the identity for independent events? What's the rule for independent events? And this rule you must remember, the probability of A intersection B is equal to the probability of A times the probability of B. So what do we have? We have A intersection B, which is 0, 3, which is this here. So if I can prove this is 0, 3, or disprove it, I've done the job. Now the probability, just read again, I think I'm missing something here. Yeah. The probability of A is 0, 6. Probability of A is 0, 6. Okay? So, just to plot what we have here is, this should make more sense. This is A. The probability of A intersection B is 0, 3. The sample space definitely 1. Probability of A is 0.6. So if this is 0, 3, that is 0, 3. Not so? Now, if we're going to say that the probability of A union B is equal to the probability of A, this is your probability formula, and there's an intersection, so it's A intersection B. So I got A union B. What was A union B? 0, 8. The probability of A is 0, 6 plus the probability of B is what I want to calculate, minus the probability of A intersection B, which is 0, 3 is. So the probability of B is going to give us 0, 5. So let's check if the probability of A times the probability of B, let's see what that gives us. 0, 6 times 0, 5, which is 0, 3. Not so? That's 0, 3 people. Yes. So since that is equal to that, so we say since the probability of A intersection B is equal to the probability of A times the probability of B, therefore events are independent. If it was not equal, it would have been not independent or dependent. Okay. So if you are interested in the next question, you can watch the video later, it will be online. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your day. For the next lesson, I need you guys to have answered paper 2. Okay. Good morning, class. Alright, so the last question, the bonus question here, it says, make X the subject of the formula, stating all the restriction, and it's further given that E minus B is positive, or greater than 0. Greater than 0 means positive. So as you can see, where X lies there. So what we need to do first is take the D over, and then divide it by A. So A tan Bx plus C is equal to E minus D, divided by A. So tan B C plus Bx plus C is equal to E minus D all over A. Remember, now this fits in here now. So they're telling you that tan is positive. To us, that means to say that tan is in the first or third quadrant. Okay? So we then say our reference, bx plus c has to be equal to arctan of E minus D over A. So my restriction at this point already is that A can never be equal to 0. Otherwise the sum will be undefined. Okay? So that is the case. Also we know at this point that we have an asymptote. Okay? The asymptote is for the normal tan x graph. Your asymptote is that x is equal to 90 plus k times 180. So what's your x value here? Your x value in its place, in x's place, I have this here, or that. So in other words, I should say, taking that into account, is that bx plus c is equal to 90 plus k times 180. We take c over, so bx is equal to 90 minus c plus k times 180 divided by b, so it's 90 minus c over b plus k times 180. Okay? Then, there's also over b, because you're dividing throughout by b. So x. Okay. So what do we do thereafter? We post it to the correct quadrant. So it's in quadrant 1 and 3. No? Why? Because we know that this is positive. In which quadrant we sign tan positive? 1 and 3. But remember, this is a repeated solution in quadrant 3. So I just have to write it out once. So for quadrant 1, we say bx plus c equals arctan of E minus D over A plus k times 180. Why k times 180? Because the period on the tan graph is 180. So I take c over and then I divide it by b. So x is equal to arctan of E minus D over A minus c plus k times 180, and then I'm dividing it all through by b. Okay? And what else we could say, another part of the restriction is, of course, b can't also be equal to 0 then. Okay? So I think that is all the restrictions here. If I had made any mistakes, my number is there on the side. Give me a call and you can tell me where I've gone wrong. These videos are free, so you are free to share it with whoever you like. Okay? Enjoy the rest of your day. All the best.